Masons were men of honor, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. There would have been a cessation of this abysmal psychological operation. Some of you know, under the James Wright video, there was somebody who was almost certainly a Freemason, who was a rather presumptuous wretch. And this fiend lacked the honor to deal with me honestly, but rather compared me to charlatans and people who aren't who they say they are. I am exactly who I say I am, and I'm sure you know this. And some of you wonder, well, why would a great man such as myself take the time to address something said by a lowly fiend, such as somebody in a secret society or something, or some other lowlife of the sort? Well, I decided to make an example, so all Masons know why what they do is appalling and unacceptable. These contemptuous rapscallions do not understand what it means to be a man of honor. And that is why I wore this shirt in this video. To remind you all that you are cowards that sneak around and manipulate, while I'm Heru, the top martial artist, and you're a bunch of bitches that are covertly drugging me. Never forget that rather important fact. You are in a rather precarious and delicate situation, but you insist on persistently pestering me. Men that get all dressed up and try to make themselves look good, acting like a bunch of sniveling old women, a bunch of neurotic, psychotic, narcissistic, old harlots. Where's the honor in that? Don't you know that every time that you stoop down to these pathetic levels, you lose respect from society? Every time I point this out, you lose more and more respect. When people think of Masons, they're no longer going to be fooled by your obsessive compulsive rituals where everyone must be in order. They will see you as the petty weirdos that you are. Some of the people who are most concerned with appearances. What do Masons do? They build buildings not just for their structural integrity, but for their appearance. What are the ceremonies? For the appearance. Why the great detail? Why the meticulous detail? The meticulous attention to detail on your uniforms and, shining things, and everything has to be rather presentable. Why? Because you care about appearances more than anything else. Morality isn't appearances. There is stated morality and actual morality. There are appearances, there are men of appearance, and there are men of honor, and the two are almost always separate. Was Jesus a man of appearances? Was Gandhi? Now, Gandhi's a rather controversial figure that most people don't understand that, but the point is that the greatest men in history, as seen by the intellectual community, if you will, were almost never men of appearances. So what does that say about men of appearances? Who were, King George, tyrants, Caesars? Those were men of appearances. Righteous men were men of action, men of principle, men of honor. So while you struggle to maintain appearances and you go out of your way to make other people look bad, the most insightful minds do not miss the unmissable. That there were people who went to great lengths to make Jesus look bad. There were people who went to great lengths, such as J. Edgar Hoover, to make Martin Luther King look bad. When a man is in prison for what he believes or jailed, they look bad. You do not win by maintaining appearances, you lose. You failed to maintain morality, and perhaps that was never your intentions, nor your predecessors' intentions. You think that you can team up with homosexuals and feminists and atheists and mental health, and magically people will always respect you. You will always be these sort of white-collar criminals that nobody respects. There are many people, such as George Bush and other criminals, that dress up, that nobody respects. How eloquently you speak means nothing. It says nothing of your character. So why then do you continue to degrade yourself, to degrade yourselves, and to dwell in depravity and decadence? Why do you lack the intellectual acuity to see that morality and spirituality are the highest forms of intelligence? Why do you insist on inferior applications of knowledge, of schools of thought, philosophy, of principles of religion? Why do you insist? Could the greatest builders possibly be that with an inferior application? Using inferior tools? Effeminate sissies? Bearded ladies? Root doctoring? Drugging? Pharmacology? Pay for delay? Where is your humanity? Where is your spirituality? You are lost in the Luciferian doctrine. And Lucifer could not compare to Jesus when it comes to philosophy. Lucifer could not compare to Michael or God. They're not only incompatible, but incomparable. Why do you insist on being villains, an ultra-vile excrement, dressed up in a nice suit, under the cover of articulation? Why do you insist on being poisonous serpents? What will happen to your craft when those most insightful minds in the world notice that my craft is superior? Notice that my philosophy is superior. What will happen to Freemasonry? What will happen to America? You've turned everything upside down, and now that it is beginning to turn right side up, what will happen to you and your descendants as you have left them a legacy of shame, regret, and embarrassment? Even if you manage to thoroughly sabotage my life, to say it is a Pyrrhic victory is a vast understatement. And you all should understand that these truths are self-evident. How could you miss them? If you value intellect over quote-unquote superstition, how did you miss this? How could any man of respect or honor treat such a dignified gentleman such as myself in such a disrespectful, unacceptable manner? The fact that you are my enemies will cost you everything. For God is on my side. What kind of inferior minds would lack insight to the point where they move against me, where they act against me, where they speak against me, where they persecute me on behalf of greed, selfishness, shallowness, evilness, and maintaining lies. These are the principles of cowards. Do not let your cowardice be your undoing. Do the right thing and repent.